Hello everyone, my name is John Papadakis and I'm an Azure Business Development Manager for Ingram Micro. Welcome to part 2 of the 8-part series Azure the Partner Opportunity. This series of webinars will cover the partner opportunity for selling cloud solutions with Azure. We will explore cloud economics and the managed services provider business model. We will provide an in-depth overview of sales and marketing best practices for cloud solutions. And we will end with an in-depth discussion of Azure pricing and packaging. Today we're going to cover our guidance on starting a cloud practice for Azure, focusing on Azure priority scenarios and custom opportunities in the SMB segment. So a bit of overview what is to come with this webinar series. As I said, today is the second session out of 8 that will be held with a 3 weeks interval. We're focusing on the discussion of how to prepare your business to start selling Azure cloud solutions and how to succeed. Please ask questions throughout. We will respond with a Q&A at the end and follow up on email if we're short on time. I'm excited to introduce Robert Pope, the Chief Commercial Officer of Baboon Cloud. We will be able to shift the discussion away from the theoretical talk and into more practical advice as Robert can share his company's transition into the cloud solutions. He's going to be able to share some of his experience and best practices of what they've done so far. We're really looking forward for the conversation that will be near the end. Okay, I'm going to do a quick recap of the first session where we uncovered some trends on the SMB market, analyzed where the opportunity sits with Microsoft partners, and presented some case studies. Within 12 months, more than 50% of SMBs with 10 or more employees will have adopted some public cloud infrastructure. 37.5% of companies with 10 to 19 employees have plans to implement cloud solutions within the next 12 months. We know SMB is a major growth opportunity for CSP partners, and we want you to be able to take advantage of this. There is a 657 million opportunity in SMB, according to Microsoft Cloud Ascent data. With changing business conditions, we have seen that more SMBs adopt technology that can help them adapt to COVID or invest in technology to set them up for long-term success. In the dark blue, we can see that the technology that customer started using has increased, and in the lighter blue, we can see the increased usage of technology in the same customers. So these are SMBs that are learning how to adopt their business practice and make sure they are preparing themselves using robust technology. We're trying to see why does this matter specifically for us. So most small and medium businesses do not have resources to implement these technologies themselves. They see the value of the technology and they understand that it can help move their business forward, but they are going to need a trusted IT advisor. This trusted IT advisor, of course, can be you, and you can help them implement this new technology. Since the start of COVID-19, more than 50% of SMBs have started or increased their usage of managed services. This is where the opportunity lies for Microsoft partners, and this is where we want to talk about the managed service provider business model and how you can get started selling cloud solutions. So many partners and customers have already experienced selling Microsoft solutions, such as Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and Power Platform. All these solutions are built on the backbone of Azure infrastructure and are sold as a bundle per user per month basis. Azure solutions, on the other hand, are custom-built solutions that are built to serve specific business needs. There are many moving parts that are priced based on consumption and can have varied functionality. In this example, when a partner wants to create an Azure Virtual Desktop solution to cover a customer need, the partner has to take into consideration a lot of moving parts. So VMs for host pools, VMs for the FSLogix profiles, VMs for domain controllers, storage, maybe some added VMs for any applications that run on SQL databases. It's a very different pricing exercise than selling M365 or Dynamics 365 at the start, because when you're creating a solution, what you're creating is built based on what is consumed. So you have thousands of options that you have to specify, and the charge can vary with use. The goal is to combine all of them into a bundled cloud solution where a customer would see Azure Virtual Desktop come together. And then as a partner, you can package this together and sell them as a per month, per user price, or possibly a per VM per user, per VM per month price. Now moving forwards, we have a chance to see what the current landscape of Azure solutions being consumed in the SMB segment looks like. It is surprising to see that almost 85% of the solutions sold on a cost basis are used in 5 primary resources. The most common workload is, of course, Windows and Linux virtual machines, since compute is the most expensive Azure resource and is involved in most solutions that are built. In second place, we see storage. This could be Azure Storage, this could be Azure Blobs, Azure Files, or it could be a disk storage attached to a VM. The other 3 options on the top 5 are SQL Server and SQL Database, backup solutions, and networking. A common starter solution for partners to offer to customer is backup of on-prem or cloud workloads, but another solution that is gaining a lot of traction recently is Azure Virtual Desktop. Azure Virtual Desktop solutions leverage all of the 5 solutions we see here, and that is why it's not listed in a different column. The first takeaway from this slide that I would take is that there is an alignment with the trends discussed earlier. Customers are moving infrastructure to Azure and are focusing on collaboration and security tools. A second takeaway is that there is a huge growth opportunity of selling advanced or other solutions to customers. Only 15% of workloads fall into the category of app innovation, analytics, machine learning, and AI. So when the customers see the benefit of moving to Azure, then we can have the conversation of benefits from advanced solutions where they can ingress their data and start making informed business decisions that can transform their business. The basic foundation of infrastructure is where we're going to start, but there is a lot of opportunity for upwards mobility. So let's put that all together with Microsoft's strategy for the fiscal year FY22 that starts in July 2021 and ends in June 2022. So the first is managed security with Azure, and this will be made possible by extending the identity and access management of M365 and also combining that with hybrid identity, Azure Virtual Desktop, new security features like network security, full infrastructure monitoring, and active threat protection. This is extending the investment customers have already made in M365 by adding Azure Security. The second one is helping customers modernize to Azure Virtual Desktop. Azure Virtual Desktop provides a new way to deliver apps and desktops to customers securely, and also provides the opportunity to migrate legacy redundant on-prem solutions to Azure. So legacy line of business applications for accounting, for dental practices, for legal firms. Azure Virtual Desktop is the best tool to use to migrate these solutions to Azure and modernize them. And also it provides the best end user experience. At third and most importantly, I would say it will be very helpful for partners to build their managed services business model on top of it. And the third priority is, of course, migrating on-prem Windows Server and SQL servers to Azure. Many customers will be considering Azure for the first time, so we want to set them up for success. As a high-level view, to start with, every solution requires a hybrid environment to build upon, and then that is why establishing a hybrid identity is the first step. We want to connect the on-prem Active Directory with Azure Active Directory. We want to connect the on-prem servers with Azure. So hybrid identity and hybrid networking is really important. And we want to make sure that the infrastructure, either on-prem or on Azure, is resilient. So we use Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery for disaster recovery. So the next workloads would be migration of servers using the Azure Infrastructure as a Service platform. So you'll have your VMs, you'll have your storage. Again, Azure Virtual Desktop will enable remote workers access to business apps, business data, and we can bring them all together under the protection of the Azure security. So Azure Defender, Security Center, and many other options you have to implement a good security posture on your cloud and hybrid workloads. So I've included this slide because I would like you to have a better view of what is the opportunity. So these are what we call Azure sales plays for FY22, and we as Ingram Micro have broken down the opportunity from less complexity to more complexity. There is an indicative Azure revenue and attached managed services opportunity below. And we will deliver a handout following the webinar with the Azure priority scenarios with specific links to a respective solution, and as well as sales conversation cards. Just remember, you can always reach out and we can have a personalized one-to-one business plan on creating your Azure journey and creating your Azure solutions. So just to go through it quickly, you can see from left to right, less complexity to more complexity is, of course, identity is the first one, then Azure Backup and and Azure Site Recovery, and then Azure Virtual Desktop. But then you can notice that the solutions become more specific and can help address specific needs. So the change switch from B2B to B2C, especially now that everything is done remotely. Digital commerce is an amazing solution you can offer to your retail customers, but not only retail. Then infrastructure cost optimization. There are a lot of solutions, tools, software, defined assessments that can help you discover, assess, and move any servers, any old applications to Azure and modernize them. Data-driven business with Power BI, I think also Robert can add a lot to this discussion. And then you'll have your low-code apps, app modernization, advanced security. All of those cover a huge subset, and all of those can be broken down and can be bundled in a solution that can be sold to scale. So this is an example of a sales conversation card that can be leveraged by your sales department to identify the customer pain at the beginning, even if though you have no experience talking to customers. Just having a look on this conversation card can give you an idea of what questions to ask what could be the customer challenges, and then following, you can have a conversation starting guide to unlock the opportunity, and there are specific resources to help your sales team create a secure storage sales campaign like this one, for example. We're now going to move on a quick overview of the cloud business model, the MSP business model, and a few resources to help you get started with Azure. So how do we make money with Azure? The following webinars, part 3 and 4, will cover this in more detail. And the last two, the Azure pricing and packaging, will be very granular, very broken down on how to price and package. But today we want to lay the foundation for that. The ultimate goal is to help you create packaged repeatable solutions. So this is our mantra for today. Those packaged repeatable solutions that you can bundle into managed services and then scale across your customer base. So in a high-level overview, we get started with Azure practice. So for example, Azure Virtual Desktop is a solution that I've loved to talk about, if you have noticed so far. So let's say that this is a solution that you have identified and you want to go to market. The first step is to determine the go-to-market strategy. You have to align people internally in your company to own the initiative. I would like to point out that we as at Ingram Micro are here to help you all along this journey with specific tools, collateral, marketing, and technical resources. We have a lot of experience. We've done this the same for hundreds of partners, and we will keep doing it for many more. So the second step is, okay, now we have aligned our stakeholders. You have to develop technical capabilities for your technical team. So how can you do that? You can create a demo internally. You can use your Azure credit. You may have, especially if you have the Silver Cloud Platform competency, you can migrate an RDA solution that you may have on your on-prem servers internally. Or you can, what I would recommend doing is create a demo tenant with your Azure credit and play around with it, customize it, see what the complexities are from a technical point of view, how much time this will take you to set it up, how much time would you need to manage the solutions, to manage the profiles, to back it up, to set up new applications, to use MSI, app attach, and so on. So then it's very important to develop a sales strategy. So the sales conversation card I mentioned before will help you. You can identify customers that are open to cross-sell or upsell Azure Virtual Desktop on your Cloud Ascent data. Again, we can help you do that. And you can leverage a lot of free go-to-market Microsoft tools. The next step, very important. So I would recommend finding a friendly customer, finding a customer that's open to cloud solutions that have some RDS, maybe servers on-prem, or are looking to, are happy with the Azure Virtual Desktop technology and would like to implement it. Then when you create that, when you demo the solution, when you create the first solution and test it and go to production, this is a key point for your managed service business model journey. So a lot of partners will be happy with the results and then wait for the next quote and then wait for the next project in the pipeline, and this is what they've used to do. So what I would say is take a step back, pause, and understand what went well, document what went well, what went wrong, and maybe create some ARM templates, create some Azure blueprints that help you automate the deployment process. Understand, is this something you can do yourself? how much time do you need to set this up, to test it, to manage it when it's in production? Do you need a third-party solution, for example, Nerdio, or can you do it internally? And when you've answered all those questions, then you should start understanding how to bundle all of this in a managed services model and maybe offer it as a per user per month price if possible. If not, you can create some standard solutions. So for example, let's say 100 users per month would cost this. More than 100 users would cost more, some add-ons. So it sounds easier than it is, but really talking from my experience, there is an initial learning curve. There is a steep learning curve, I would say, at the beginning, especially at the technical capabilities. But when you see the results, this model can scale really fast. So statistically speaking, after the fifth migration to Azure, you will have developed the required skills that will help you move quicker to Azure and make more money and margin. And especially Azure Virtual Desktop, the more you understand the technology, the more you are on top of the cost of the requirements, the better the margin. Okay, so moving along, the managed services provider business model is very different to the traditional cost plus margin or fix business model. Traditional VAR model is usually hardware plus licensing plus services equals cost multiplied by margin equals revenue. So in the MSP model, you are the trusted advisor for the customer. So what does this mean? So as well as support, you will need to provide technology recommendation. So one example is if a customer is looking for an Azure backup solution or a backup solution in general, it's your role as a trusted advisor to maybe deepen the discussion, understand why do you need this. Is this the first move to the cloud? Yes. Could we potentially have an assessment, a discovery and assessment to see if we can move, more workloads to the cloud? We can offer, some kind of services. These are the services that we can offer. So it's all about, having the discussion about why, and not what do you need and how much this will cost. So this model benefits not only customers and partners, and truly it allows customers to adopt the technology that they would not have been able to do it by themselves. So a lot of common service provider offerings we see align with the market trends. We have seen as well as the three priorities. So some are package services with monthly recurring revenue, and others are project services like large migrations and advanced professional services. So this would be once-off revenue. So an example, as I said before, with a migration, you can attach multiple services over to make sure the customer will get the most out of their investment. So you can, for example, you can do lift and shift. You can add your help desk. You can add your specific identity services. You can add security, data protection, desktop as a service, remote monitoring, professional services, Azure like that. There are hundreds and hundreds of solutions you can offer to the customer, and this is where the customer will truly see the value of the cloud and get the adds on their business, the technology that they can help them adapt and go further than where they were before the pandemic. Discussing about the support tools, remote monitoring and management could be a third-party tool, could be a Microsoft tool. Professional services automation can be provided by us, by Ingram Micro. And Azure Lighthouse is one of the amazing tools that you can have one simple pane of glass of all your tenants and all the subscription of your customers, and also manage the policy. So that is when you can really scale quickly, and you can remove the unnecessary work and outsource this to either a third-party tool or maybe work with a different partner. We will discuss this more in depth later. So 4 things we focus on are people, technology, process, and execution. And we, as an Ingram Micro SureSet team, we can orchestrate the whole process end to end. So with people, we make sure everyone is on board. It's sales, it's marketing, it's solution architects, it's the management. And we have a focus on those repeatable solutions. So we want to go to market. We want to train our resources, our sales and technical resources. We have to get everyone on board and move forward. So technology. We are very happy to use third-party tools if this can help accelerate our Azure journey, or if there are skills in-house, start creating your ARM templates and start automating the process. Then the third one, again, it's a mantra for today, bundle offering. So what's the best practice so far? What is the cloud adoption framework policies we can use? What is the well-architected framework policies we can build in our solutions in a way that we can rinse and repeat? And last but not least, execution. So we need, as a partner, to switch from the on-prem mindset. We need to switch from quoting for licensing and hardware and going from one project to the other to a cloud-first solution selling. So as Ingram Micro and the SureStep team, we can help you throughout the whole journey. We do not have to redesign the wheel, of course. This has been done many hundreds of times, and we have all the resources available. We have the experience and the expertise in-house. So the last slide before we get into the practical aspect is that we want to make sure partners know that technical capacity is not a limiting factor for selling cloud solutions. Partners can start selling solutions in the way that makes sense for them, or however they feel more comfortable. So again, if you have that technical capacity in-house, you can deploy Azure native solutions. The Azure portal is an amazing platform. It's an amazing portal. You can find all the resources you need. You can build your solutions. You can keep the ARM templates, and you can use Azure Policy, Azure Lighthouse, and all those built-in tools to manage customers at scale. The second one, and we will have the chance to discuss this later with Robert, is that if you want to sell a solution but you do not have the technical skills in-house, you are not sure how to start, or you're just started and you're not, let's say, that confident, you can always deploy Azure solutions either on the Azure Marketplace or through our partner-to-partner sales motion. So you will just need to focus on your customer relationship. If your customer needs an Azure solution, you can address, you can help get another partner to come in and help you with that solution. You will still, get, of course,
Uh, so yeah, thank you for staying with us so far. So I'm really excited to get to the practical discussion. I'm really excited to introduce Robert Pope. Just a quick question, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me as well, by the way?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool, excellent. Good morning.
Good morning. It's really good to have you here. It's really good to have a partner to discuss about, the practicalities of all the solutions we've been discussing so far. So yeah, if you can start with an introduction of yourself and your company.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Very pleased to be here. Thank you very much for the very kind invitation to talk on today's session. My name is Robert Pope, Chief Commercial Officer at an organisation called Bamboom Cloud. We're about 120 people in the UK. We also operate across the US and Canada, and also various other territories, and we work very closely with Ingram and also Ingram partners. The key focus of what we do is around particularly Dynamics. We use Dynamics and particularly a platform called Business Central to really help SMB businesses transform and grow from the way that they use business applications. And I guess the key part of that and where that has an impact on the wider Microsoft platform is, and this gives a slightly different direction than just building an Azure platform, building an Azure practice. It's actually looking at what workloads do we replace, and as in replacing those workloads, it drives Azure spend. One of the things that we come back to is, broadly speaking, organizations have kind of two parts to their infrastructure spend. One part is on platforms that would classically be called modern work, Office 365, those kind of solutions. And in there, I would include things like Teams and all of those other pieces of collaboration technology, which obviously also drives Azure spend. But the area that we focus in on is that business application spend, which for SMBs is where they spend around 40% of their IT budget. Their technology budget is spent on business applications, and it's also a huge area now where there's a lot of legacy platforms in place, lots of legacy ERP or finance or accounting solutions that are all on premise. And actually, where we look at Dynamics playing in is very much around opening up that opportunity, and that's what I'm keen to speak to you a little bit more about today, to give you some learnings and share.
Oh, that's really good, really interesting. So okay, so we discussed so far about the trends, the market data, and the needs of the customers, in theory at least. So are you seeing this in practice with your customers?
Definitely. I think the thing that has really opened up that need piece, COVID has acted like a pressure cooker on a lot of SMB businesses. They've either grown quite quickly or they've shrunk quite quickly. And now, as we come back out of the COVID era, hopefully, that is kind of now behind us, we're seeing organizations recognize that the technology that they've had, particularly, and I come back to the area we play in, particularly in that business applications arena, has not been fit for purpose. They haven't been able to be as flexible and grow and transform as they've needed to during COVID, but have felt very lacking in confidence with regards to making an investment decision just until they were a bit more clear that we were coming out of the back of COVID. But what's then transpired is that Dynamics very much, and the approach we take is it unlocks a lot of other spend. And one of the things, and kind of without going off on too much of a tangent, one of the key things that we see is this whole principle of data being the new oil. Everything that an SMB business wants to do around things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, data storage, data collection, broadly boils down to having the best source of oil in the first place, or best source of data. And actually, if that data that the organization has is locked away in an on-premise, out-of-date finance solution like Sage, for example, or even QuickBooks, which an SMB struggles to get data out of, it basically suffocates any other projects, because if you don't have the data, you can't then go and do that data project. If you can't then go and then drive Azure spend under machine learning or artificial intelligence or cognitive services, or actually just building out data lakes that you can then use to report from. And a key part of that is that Dynamics has this gravity for data. It pulls data towards it, and we're now seeing organizations really want to understand what's going on in their businesses, because COVID has had an impact, and COVID has driven that growth. Or actually, as I said, COVID's driven that requirement to refinance a business, to borrow money from a bank or from another organization. And as an SMB, when that sort of switch takes place from being run as an owner-managed organization, that if there's money left in the pot at the end of the month, they consider they've had a good month. If you're now going cap in hand to a bank or a financial services company to support your business, then they need much more granularity of cash flow and the financial status of that organization, which comes back to data, which ultimately comes back to having the right kind of business applications platform in place, and then the ability to then run those data projects. And I know on your slides, I've forgotten the amount of percentage, but a large percentage of Azure spend is driven by data, and that's where we see Dynamics unlocking that opportunity and then driving all those subsequent projects.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So if we can, I can come back to that. So a lot of partners are just starting, their MSP journey, their cloud journey, their Azure journey. So I know personally that Dynamics needs a lot of technical skills, experience to implement. And partners want to deliver solutions to the customers now. Can you tell me more about the partner-to-partner motion? So let's say a partner wants to have some customers are in discussion and they want to move, let's say, to Dynamics and attach the Azure services that comes with it. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Certainly, and I think that's one of the great strengths that Ingram bring to the table, actually. And probably to put this into context, the offerings that we provide are available in the Ingram Cloud Marketplace. We work extensively with the Ingram partner community. The reason we do that is that we understand as an organization what we're good at. We're a Business Central partner, World Partner of the Year, but our offering is designed to support partners. We understand that a partner can't be an expert in everything, and similarly we're not. So we are very much the experts in business applications in Business Central specifically for SMB customers, and we work very closely with partners through a partner-to-partner model where we help unlock the Dynamics opportunity. We'll deliver and support the Dynamics opportunity in partnership with the partner, but also as part of that, we kind of see it as opening up that almost like a Trojan horse, where we're opening up the customer by virtue of putting in Dynamics and then going back to the customer and saying, hey, now you've got this great solution, you can go and do these other things with it. And this is the point at which you need to speak to your existing partner about the Azure requirements that you're going to need. Because, for example, when we go into a classic SMB customer, so 250 employees, we replace their Sage solution with Dynamics. The minute we do that, often there is on-premise other solutions that are wrapped around Sage, maybe an operational system, maybe things like payroll, maybe things like document management solutions that are linked in to store invoicing information, or there may be other solutions that are part and parcel of what the SMB does. The minute we shift that out to Dynamics using our P2P model, so we engage the customer, we sell them, help the partner sell Dynamics, the partner keeps the licenses and retains, and it's their customer, it's the partner's customer. We do the deployment using fixed price, fixed outcome solutions, which again, the partner can take margin on, and we can provide the support around the Dynamics piece. But ultimately what that's doing is unlocking all of that other stuff that is on premise, because the minute that we take the accounting and finance solution to Azure, we're kind of left with this other stuff that's left on premise. And we'll, our default position is, well, you're going to put that on Azure, obviously. You're not going to put it anywhere else. We know that the market penetration of Azure is 10 times greater in Dynamics customers than it is in Office 365 customers. if a customer has bought Dynamics, they're not then going to go and host their other solutions on something else like AWS, for example. They're going to put it on Azure right next door to their Dynamics platform. And one of the key things we do is that it's actually not something that we do. We just signpost it. The bit that we're interested in, the bit we're very good at, is the Dynamics part. The bit that we also help the partners with and understand that, one, they can build their business on the Dynamics revenue and the Dynamics licensing, which the partner keeps. But more importantly, it gives them and unlocks that extra 40% of spend within that customer that's on those data and AI projects, that's on that business applications.
So we're talking about not the 5 biggest consumption trends. We're talking about the 15% that has AI, machine learning, big data. So is this targeted to, let's say, bigger customers? Is it targeted to smaller kind of customer with 20 users, 40 users, take advantage of Azure AI, machine learning, big data?
Yes, absolutely. And I think actually it's perhaps where the misconception is, because Dynamics also drives, and if I go and look at those other solutions, and I know you can't maybe necessarily go back to the slide, but if I look at it, they're going to need more infrastructure. They're going to need more storage. They're going to need, I think it's slide 8. I think I've got it. Ooh, let's go back.
This one.
That one, yeah. So if we look at where Dynamics hits, it's the 15% is machine learning, AI, that area. You need data to be able to do any of those things. The other piece is where Dynamics hits then is particularly around infrastructure, so hosting those other solutions, that manufacturing solution that needs to sit next door to Dynamics to help the organization do whatever it is they do, or their retail system, or their ticketing system, or whatever that business does. They will have a Dynamics solution and usually some other third-party components that help them do whatever it is they do, whether they're a retailer or a distributor or a financial services company. Those solutions then need places to live. So that hits that pillar on the left, the 43%. They need storage and they need SQL Server to create for that data lake, which is where the data is going to come from Dynamics, can then be pushed into those data storage areas. So in effect, Dynamics hits all of those. In fact, realistically, the only one it doesn't really is the networking and backup solutions. And you can even argue a case for backup as well for using Azure alongside your Dynamics. So it kind of is a bit of a Pandora's box of opening up a huge volume of opportunity.
Well, it's very good to hear. It's very good to hear that partners can start today. They don't have to wait to understand more or wait to get those skills. It's good that one last question, I would say from my side. So we discussed about the benefits for the partners. What are the benefits for the customer? The mantra of this webinar series is package solutions, repeatable solutions. What is the actual benefit of the customers when they get the add-ons, the data lakehouse, the AI, the machine learning? From your experience.
It's about a number of factors. Firstly, I think I would wrap a lot of this up in it's reducing their risk. It's putting their solutions in an evergreen platform. Many of these customers, these SMB customers, the reason they are where they are today and then move to Dynamics is because they've been stuck on old technology. They've had version lock where they bought a platform 5-10 years ago and they can't upgrade it, which is common in a lot of on-premise solutions, or they can't upgrade it very easily. So it means they end up with historically very old, very unsecure platforms. So when we start to look at for the SMB customer, what impact this has is, one is it gives them competitive edge. It's very low risk. The cost point, particularly when we look at these packaged up solutions, is easily managed. Everything we do is fixed price, fixed outcome. We tell them what they're going to get, how much it's going to cost, what it's going to do, and what it's not going to do. The other big part is security. I think most SMBs during COVID have had that issue where they've been targeted by phishing attacks. They've been targeted for lots and lots of nefarious criminal activity, and security becomes one of those things that actually being part of that Microsoft trusted environment is like buying a huge insurance policy by being part of that Microsoft environment. We talk a lot about trust. We talk a lot about being able to secure your platforms and secure your business. And there isn't a safer place than Microsoft, to be honest. It's certainly much safer than being on-premise on old technology that can't be patched or updated.
No, that's fine. Okay, I think we're okay on time, just barely. Is there anything you would like to add on your side? Any last remarks?
I think for partners, I think the opportunity is huge. I think it does take an element of using the team at Ingram, who help and provide lots of different resources. I think it's a question of kind of really taking a little bit of step back in their own organization and just thinking, actually, let's just look at our customers in the round. Where can Azure fit in, and how do we unlock that conversation in our customer? Obviously, I'm going to say Dynamics is a big place to start, but I think there's picking up Azure is something that is, there's an expression, how do you eat an elephant, in small parts. There is a huge amount of information that Ingram provide to you. There's a huge amount of support that partners like ourselves can do. And I think the other part of this is, I'm also president of the IAMCP, which is the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners. Okay. We're an organization that supports partners alongside Ingram. Ingram are part of that. And again, it's really about turning your business and your partnership into something that's outward facing and being able to learn. I was at Microsoft for 5 years before I joined Bamboom, and one of the things that's always kind of I've taken from that is a learn it all culture, and to spend time understanding what the art of the possible is, but also to lean on other people, to lean on Ingram, to lean on International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, to lean on partners like ourselves who will help you open up opportunities, because the nature of the Microsoft tool set is now there isn't a single partner who can be experts in everything. So it's all about growing your friendship network in effect of partners, and using Ingram as a signpost to guarantee the quality of the partners that you can work with.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Robert. That was really useful, at least for me. You learn something new every day. It's this is a continuous journey, continuous experience. We all learn as we go. So thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. I would urge you to register if you haven't yet for the third webinar. It's on the 2nd of November. We will deepen the conversation in the cloud ergonomics and the MSP business model. And yeah, we'll open up for questions. So far, I think I've answered some questions in the questions box. If anyone wants to add anything, any last questions, you can unmute yourself. Okay. Yeah, again, thank you everyone. Have a nice afternoon, and see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.